Hello, welcome back to the We Are City channel. Today's video is an exciting one. We're going to look at the Manchester City squad, the squad of the Premier League champions, of course, and pick out the weak points in this squad as well, and figure out sort of the players City could be looking to sign in the transfer market. We've gone for three areas, and we've also gone for three different types of signings. One which is Pep's pick, one which is our pick, and finally a budget pick, should City want to save money and look at another position. So let's get straight into today's video, and this is currently the strongest starting 11, I think. If Manchester City were to put out their strongest starting 11 with the players we've got, this is the side I would go with from the squad this season. So Ederson would be our goalkeeper, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, the back four, Rodri in the holding midfield role with Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne on either side, Phil Foden at the false nine, Riyad Mahrez on the right, and Raheem Sterling on the left. However, I do believe Sterling's strongest position is on the right hand side. I do believe Cancelo is naturally a right back, but that is my idea of our strongest starting 11 throughout this season. Now, if you were to look at our second team and what our rotation 11 looked like, Stefan would be the goalkeeper, Zinchenko would be our left back with Ake and Stones as the centre backs. No backup right back in the squad if Cancelo is to start at left back. Into the midfield we've got Fernandinho, Ilkay Gundogan, and no backup other midfielder. And then Grealish on the left, Jesus on the right, and no striker, no recognised striker in the whole squad, considering Jesus has played mainly on the wing this season, despite the last few games of the season. He did play as a traditional number 9. The only way City could fill these roles in the rotation squad would be to play some of the young players. So CJ Egan-Riley would be the right back. Cole Palmer, who's a youth player as well, would be the right winger, and James McAtee, the left central midfielder, the new David Silva, people have called him. So it would be three youth players that we would take to fill those roles, and straight away you can see City lack squad depth, don't they? This season we have really lacked squad depth, and if you have a look at the squad here, the depth, this is the players in white are our starters, the players in blue are our rotation players, and the players in yellow are our youth players. So goalkeeper, we are completely fine. You can see there, right back we have three players, left back we have a starter, you'd say a starter Zinchenko really, and no backup, a youth player. Centre back seems pretty good, holding midfielders as well. And then you go into the midfield and Kevin De Bruyne only has a youth player behind him. The right wing is stacked as well with Sterling and Jesus there. Cole Palmer also in there, and you can see on the left hand side Foden, Grealish and Edozie. So from looking at that you can say City have got too many right wingers. You can see the problem there is straight away, can't you? Is recognised strikers. City only have one player, and that is a youth player in Liam Delap. But overall, I mean, we've got a very good variety of players and versatile players as well. You can see that Cancelo can play at the left back position, so we do have a full back can play on both sides. Ake can also play at the left back position. Perhaps that is where Manchester City would look in the market in the upcoming summer. So you can see, like I said there, Delap, the striker area, is City's main issue in this squad, which City are already have solved, as we'll go into. Left back is the second one. City's left back situation has been neglected for too many years now. A left back is obviously necessary. And central midfield. They're the three areas in the squad I would say City do lack a body and do lack a first team player or someone who is important to the team. Midfield is looking light, I believe, this season anyway. Now, Fernandinho and Gabriel Jesus are the players expected to leave the club in red there, and with those going, Manchester City would be left also with a problem at the holding midfield role. Rodri would only be backed up by youngster Romeo Lavia. Fernandinho is gone, whereas on the right hand side with Jesus leaving, we're okay because we do have Palmer, Sterling and Mahrez who can all play on that side. Now, the questions over the futures of also Ilkay Gundogan and Raheem Sterling, which we aren't going to say in this video these players are going to leave, but they could leave, and that is something to keep an eye on, because if Gundogan and Sterling were to leave the club, that would leave Manchester City in a really bad position, where not only do we have 3 positions to improve, or possibly 4, we would have more than that, wouldn't we? 6 positions where we'd have to look to improve the squad, and that would be an issue. Now, on the right wing, if Sterling was to leave, and we're left with just Mahrez and youth player Cole Palmer, one way City could look to improve this squad depth-wise and try to not, identify and try and sign too many players and make too many changes, you would just promote Cole Palmer. That would leave it to 5 positions City would need to address. Cole Palmer could be, moved up to a rotation player, which I do believe he will be a important player. He's going on the Phil Foden route, and he could be a very important player next season. So it leaves Manchester City squad, if those 2 players were to leave, in a really poor position. You can see there, midfield is very, very light, left back is light, striker is still light, and right winger as well. And the midfield, I think, is the biggest problem there. And City could be looking at 2 midfielders, supposedly, in the transfer market this summer. So this is how Manchester City squad is looking at going into the 22-23 season. This is how it does currently look. City have addressed the striker situation already in the market, bringing in an absolute goal machine in Erling Haaland and another goal machine back up to him in Julian Alvarez. And City's attack is looking stronger than ever with Haaland and Alvarez coming in. And we will perhaps do a separate video on the, new signings of Haaland and Alvarez at some point on this channel. But for now, that is the way the squad is looking going into the new season with Haaland and Alvarez in there. And you'd say you're pretty happy with that squad, aren't you, really? Look at that squad and say, you know what? The squad is fantastic. Yes, there's still areas that need to improve on, but the striker situation, Manchester City have already sorted it right before the market even opens on the 1st of July, with the signs of Alvarez in January and Erling Haaland. City actively looking to always improve this squad, and those two signs are absolutely fantastic. Two unbelievable goal machines. And the two areas that really need addressing, as you can see in this squad, is the holding midfield role where Rodri plays, where Fernandinho has left, and the left back situation where we only have Alexander Zinchenko. And we're going to look at the players that could improve the side in these positions. So starting with the left back position, we're going to go with Pep's pick, a £40 million signing possibly in Marc Cucurella, Brighton's left back, who's been fantastic this season, signed for 15 million euros from Getafe. He scored 1 goal and got 2 assists in 39 appearances this season, the Spaniard, and he looks definitely the sort of man City should be trying to put in that left back situation. I think he would be a brilliant starter in the team. Cancelo can still play there if there was issues anyway. Him and Zinchenko can share that role. And I think Marc Cucurella, if you look at his stats on FBref or anywhere like that, if you are into that sort of thing, he really does impress. And I think he would be a very, very good signing for Manchester City. And a sort of left-back sign that does get me excited, really. I think he's, as good going forward as he's coming back. You've seen him play as a left wing-back this season, as a left winger, as a left-back, and also as a left centre-back in a back three, which shows that, Graham Potter, the Brighton manager, does trust this man's defensive abilities as well. Despite his height, he seems to be very physical and a tough tackler also. Now, our pick would be, if City couldn't pick up Marc Cucurella, I would say go for Abner Vinicius. He has been linked with Manchester City. 20 million is not much, is it, for the Brazilians? Made 21 appearances this season for Atlético Paranaense, who is the club Fernandinho looks to be joining. His old club, perhaps he could put a good word in for us towards the Brazilian fullback. Could be the next Marcelo. Honestly, you just don't know, do you? Sometimes the players from Brazilian League can be poor. But this man, when I've seen him play, looks very, very good. Seeing lots of clips, and we've also done a bit of scouting on him. And as a low-risk signing, around 10 million, maybe 15 million, Javi Galán is a pick that I think City should be very interested in if they want to save money in the left-back role. The 27-year-old from Huesca, from Celta Vigo, has played for Huesca also. He is a player, obviously, if you guys know Celta Vigo, I'm a big fan of them, watched a lot of their games. He impresses me a lot. I think he has been linked a little bit with Barcelona, but definitely sort of left-back which would fit Manchester City. And to me, he's like a very, very cheap Theo Hernandez. He's not got the physicality of Theo as the pace, but the ball carrying and progressive ability as a fullback is something he really, really does have. And that's why I believe Javi Galán could be a really good signing for Manchester City. But we'll go with Pep's pick. We'll tend to go with Pep's pick. And we'll say that Marc Cucurella there comes in for £40 million. That solves the left-back issue. And City already then will have solved 2 big holes in the squad. But another squad hole which is still glaring is the holding midfield role. City will be looking at a midfield this summer, perhaps 2 midfielders which we'll go into. But we do need a new holding midfielder to back up to Rodri, also play in the midfield if needed. So the first one is Frenkie de Jong, 46 appearances this season for Barcelona. He's Pep's pick, 4 goals and 5 assists. Barcelona will be looking for around 70-80 million for him. He's been heavily linked with Manchester United, and it's believed that PSG are also in for the 25-year-old Dutchman. The ex-Ajax man is considered one of the best midfielders in the world, but he has played not so good this season in a poor Barcelona side. And Frenkie de Jong, I still believe, one of the sort of midfielders that is press resistant, the way he plays, and he's clearly Pep's pick. City wanted him, didn't they, from Ajax, missed out to Barcelona. I'm not sure why, because I think City could have got that deal done. Went for Rodri instead, but Frenkie de Jong would be a perfect addition to this Manchester City side. Another option would be our pick, which is Aurélien Tchouameni, 50 appearances this season, 5 goals and 3 assists, around 65-70 million for the Frenchman, who to me is the natural heir to Fernandinho. So close in style to Fernandinho, a top quality midfielder. Heavily linked with Real Madrid and Liverpool. I do believe he could be on the way to one of those clubs that I believe if City can't pick up Frenkie de Jong, they should be going into the market for this man, who will be a star in the Manchester City side. Signed from Monaco, would be brilliant. Did play for Bordeaux before that. They picked him up. He's an all-rounder, and honestly, similar to Fernandinho, maybe even more physical than Fernandinho, can pick a pass, he's got a powerful shot on him, and the 22-year-old would start possibly alongside Rodri in those bigger Champions League games and play a double pivot for Manchester City, and I think that would be a wonderful signing. Honestly, he's by far my favourite to pick up. And then finally, Enzo Fernandez, 19 appearances, 8 goals and 6 assists. This guy can play holding midfield, more of a progressive midfielder, you would say, more of the Ilkay Gundogan sort of player. But Gundogan's played holding midfield role for City a few times. When City first signed Ilkay Gundogan, he was meant to play the number 6. In the end, they found that Fernandinho was fantastic there. But the man who played for San Lorenzo now plays for River Plate. €20 million release clause. Sign the man up. For that sort of money, he looks fantastic. And in a budget pick, he would be a real good addition for Manchester City. Aggressive, good in the tackle, also really progressive in his passing. And he would be a fantastic signing for Manchester City. But like always, we'll go with the Pep pick. So Pep's pick would be Frankie de Jong. So Frankie de Jong going into there, and that is how the side will be looking going into the 22-23 season. And it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic, that side. Now, there's one area I think we could improve on. You see, every single position, we do have a backup player, a rotation player, bar one. That is in midfield. And now, of course, Ilkay Gundogan still could be leaving the club, and that would leave us very light in the midfield. So City would have to go into the market for a midfielder, and we have 3 more options here that Pep Guardiola's side could look into. The first one is Pep's pick, which is Matheus Nunes, the Portuguese, half Brazilian midfielder, £40 million from Sporting. City got a good connection with Sporting, recently sold Pedro Porro there for cheap. I think he is definitely Pep's favourite for that position. Talk about progressive midfield play. He's got a bit of a Tanguy and Ndombele around him. If you remember Ndombele against Manchester City for Lyon in the Champions League, he's definitely that sort of player, can receive the ball on the turn and drive forward. I think he'd be a fantastic signing in the end, especially as a backup for not too expensive. Pep was very impressed by him when City played Sporting, so Matheus Nunes, definitely one City would be interested in. He played 50 appearances as well, games this season, which shows that he's not so injury prone, and he does get around the pitch as well for a big man. Got a couple of goals in him as well, and assists. Definitely a progressive midfielder. Our pick is Ismail Benacer, who can also play in the holding midfield role. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Again, another one who can receive the ball under pressure, and that's the sort of play you need at Manchester City, someone who can receive the ball under pressure. Got to have a very good first touch, haven't you? And Ismail Benacer is by far one of those players. 2 goals and 1 assist in a league-winning, Serie A winning AC Milan side. The 24-year-old midfielder has played for Arsenal at youth level, went to Empoli, was a wonderful pickup by AC Milan, and I think would seamlessly fit into this Manchester City side if City were looking at the Algerian. Surely a bit of a connection there with Riyad Mahrez. And then finally, our budget pick would be Mattias Svanberg, the Swedish international, plays for Bologna. Did play for Malmo before that. He's 23 years of age. In 37 appearances this season, 3 goals and 3 assists. He's a sort of under-the-radar player, which I do believe some bigger clubs might pick up. With Manchester United with Ralf Rangnick in charge and Ten Hag, they might look at this sort of player. I do believe he is that sort of man. If you're looking for an under-radar signing who would be top quality, even Liverpool, that sort of player, when they picked up, Mane from Southampton, who was initially at Salzburg, is picking up those players before they make the big move. And Mattias Svanberg could be that player. I've been very impressed when I've seen him play for Bologna, and I think he could be set for a big step up. Maybe Manchester City would be too big of a step up for Mattias Svanberg, but he is a very, very good midfielder, the Swedish international. Good picker pass. Very good, very tidy in possession, and that's what I really like about him. So if we say we went with Matheus Nunes, he's the Pep pick again, this is how City's side would look. So 3 players pretty much in every position. Edison, Stefan and Carson would be our goalkeepers. Walker, Cancelo and Egan Riley at the right back. Stones, Diaz on the right centre-back position. Laporte, Ake and Mbete the left centre-back position. The left back has been solved with Kukurea signing for 40 million with Zinchenko and Wilson Esbrand there. Rodri, De Jong and Lavia solve the holding midfield role. Matheus Nunes backs up Kevin De Bruyne, and with James McAtee there on the right-hand side of the midfield, and Bernardo and Gundogan on the left-hand side of the midfield. The left wing is sorted with Foden, Grealish and Edozie. The right wing is sorted with Mahrez, Sterling and Palmer. And of course, the striker has been solved before the summer's even started with Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez and Liam Delap. Some of these youngsters could go out on loan as well, it has to be mentioned, and there still could be some departures, perhaps Raheem Sterling, but I would be very, very, very happy as a Manchester City fan going into the 22-23 season, seeing that squad depth, which, Liverpool have shown proves really valuable this season. They've managed to compete in all 4 competitions, Liverpool, which City haven't been able to do this season, and that's because they haven't had the 22 players they've had in previous seasons. They've only had 17 starting players. By City making those signings and improving the squad depth, you'd see how strong City's squad was, and perhaps that would help City compete for all 4 trophies come next season. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed and you enjoy that. Please let us know in the comments down below as well. Who would you sign for Manchester City? Who do you think Manchester City would be signing? Is there any players that I haven't mentioned there that you do believe could be on the way to the Etihad Stadium? Also, you can join our We Are City membership club. The Bronze Club will get you unedited episodes of all our gaming series. The Silver Club will get you all the videos early access to every single video. The Gold Club is for the absolute super fans. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next time.